Hello and welcome to another edition of the Better Man podcast. And today I have as my wonderful guest Eugene Seah. Hi, Eugene, and welcome.
Pakistan, thanks so much for inviting.
Thank you for accepting the invitation. Why don't we start by having you tell people a bit about yourself?
Sure. I'm known as an abundance coach. So what does it mean? A lot of people have a scarcity mindset to life. Like, for example, one of our most famous movies in Singapore is Money No Enough, right? So that
Mm,
is scarcity right there. You ask people, can you donate money to children cancer? They say, sorry, money not enough. Right? Can you retire now since you're so burnt out at work? Oh, money not enough. Can you send your kids to Harvard? Sorry, money not enough. Then time not enough. Sorry, can you come and help me out with my book launch? Time not enough. Right.
mm.
So we keep hearing, these are two resources in life that if you master it, right, money and time, that your life becomes a very different shape and form from the rest of the people. So I decided to dedicate my whole life to helping people achieve and spread that abundance.
Yep, as they say, right? Time is money. So
Yes.
money and time, they're all always connected to each other. Okay. And I want to talk to you today about something which I know you are a practitioner of, and that is
Yes.
the anti-fragile mindset.
Yep.
So maybe we start by trying to define it first.
Number one, we need to know the differences between anti-fragile and other kind of mindset. Then with that, then we know the positioning. So I think most people, right, that I observe, of course, I've not done a survey on it. Yeah, it's all just through my 48 years of living life at work, as a coach, traveling around the world. Most people are fragile. I know this fragile, some people call it strawberry, right? Strawberry generation, snowflake. Nowadays got a new term called ice cream. That means
Oh, really? I've not heard of that.
that one is invented by my friend one. I'm trying to make that term
Okay.
more popular. Yeah. So basically, you don't even need to touch it. Because strawberry implies you have to drop it for it to be bruised, right? Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. But snowflake and ice cream are the same. They melt without you doing anything. So a lot
Mm,
of people nowadays say, "Oh, I'm burnt out. Oh, cannot take it anymore." But when you look at their schedule, actually, they didn't do much one. Yeah, it's just an emotional thing. I'm not talking about mental health lah. If a person seriously needs mental health practitioners, that one is not within my scope. Yeah, so they should go and see a doctor. Get medicine. Yeah, but I'm talking about just general public. Like not much work to do actually, but say, "Oh, I'm so busy, so busy." I don't. By the way, I used to be like that. That's why I resonate with it also. Yeah, every oh, so busy, so busy. But you compare myself to Elon Musk or Bill Gates or Lee Kuan Yew, we're not busy at all lah. Only a
mm.
little bit of thing. Go home to eat dinner with family. I mean, 4 meetings a day, meet 20 clients. Like, don't talk as if you're making a rocket to go to space, right? Yeah. So these are called fragile people, and unfortunately, I was one of them. I call myself a corporate zombie last time. It's like my body is at work, but my soul is somewhere else. Yeah. So this group of people unfortunately cannot achieve much in life. We call them dysfunctional people. Like for example, if you're supposed to take part in Olympic, we're not even talking about qualifying rounds. These people are late for practice. Right? And then 4 months after the practice, say, sorry, it's too tiring. Can I give up? Okay. So this is the first category. Second category, which is quite worthy of respect, is called resilient people, right? Resilient. That means they don't give up. Maybe after 6 years of not winning Olympic, they still press on. You're in the parenting space. If we parent our children after 10 years of them being rebellious, talk back at us, we still never give up, right? We still press on. We still love them unconditionally. We may not like our boss, we may not resonate with our job, but we press on. We don't resign. We continue to go to work, overcome the Monday blues. So this is called resilient people. Also, this one have been talked about for years and years in the papers, in books. So this one no need to elaborate too much. Now, anti-fragile is a brand new paradigm. It's not tolerating, it's not pressing on, it is not never give up. All these things are not what the author is talking about. The author, by the way, is Nassim Talib. Right. So I really resonate with this because I read this book in 2020 during COVID. So you can imagine as a coach like me, right? Before COVID, wow, I travel around the world. People pay me thousands of dollars to speak, to coach, to consult. Then suddenly during COVID, the lockdown, wow, everything shut down. Like no more travel, people cancel my engagement. And the book really saved my life. Because instead of looking at COVID, or in this case now no more COVID, crisis, adversities as something to be tolerated, right? Or to be overcome. Wow, the author taught me a brand new perspective. I look at crisis as a friend, as a tool. Okay, and he gives examples in the book, like our muscle, right? In order to train our muscle to be fitter, right, to be stronger, we actually need to carry weights. We need to stress ourselves by jogging, by swimming, by walking, right? You cannot get fitter by sitting down, watching Netflix and eating potato chips. Wow, this is a complete paradigm shift. This means that COVID is actually my gym equipment. Because of COVID, I can become stronger. But in what way? That one I'll leave it till later, the elaboration. But that is anti-fragile, right? Becoming better and stronger because of stress, because of volatility.
So if I may put it this way, tell me if
Yeah.
I'm right or wrong. A person with an anti-fragile mindset does not look to avoid crisis, does not look to avoid difficult situations, but in fact, they welcome it.
Yes.
Well, they don't look for it. I mean,
Yeah. We don't actively
it's like
look
you don't look for
yeah.
trouble, right?
Yeah, right. No, we
Yeah.
don't purposely spread COVID, for example.
Yeah. So, but they embrace it, they welcome it. If it happens, great. They say this is an opportunity for me to be stronger, to be better, and to be more resilient and whatever it is. But they see it as an opportunity, a springboard of some sorts, rather than a dead end.
Yeah, not dead end is the fragile, but some people see it as, I used to use this word gravity, gravity, because whether you like gravity or not, it is there to stay, right? There's no point complaining about gravity, right? But if you start to think about it, gravity is actually very troublesome, right? Because
Yeah, it is true.
yeah, if there's no gravity, I can just jump to your house. Like Superman, they say over the building in a single leap, right? Yeah. But because of gravity, I have to take bus to your house, I have to drive to your house, I have to walk to your house. So gravity is actually very troublesome. And people commit suicide by jumping buildings. So actually gravity killed them, isn't it? Because if there's
Yes.
no gravity, you can jump anywhere you like, you will never die one. Also, gravity actually has a lot of problem, but you don't see people going around every day complaining about gravity, right? So the resilient people, they treat adversities like gravity. That means it's something to be accepted, to be tolerated. It's like a bad marriage lah. I mean, you're in that space, right, where you talk to parents and about marriages, right? It's like a bad marriage. Like, never mind, my husband or my wife doesn't love me. We have no sex. We don't talk. But never mind. Let's not divorce for the sake of the children. I'm sure you heard this 1,000 times.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. So that is called resilient. That means this couple continue to tolerate their marriage, tolerate each other. So that's resilience, right? But wow, anti-fragile is a brand new space. That is, how do I learn to communicate with this spouse who gives me a lot of stress? And for each conflict, how do I turn that quarrel into a chance for me to get to know my spouse in a much deeper way, right? And outside of family, same thing. When I meet clients who reject me, then how do I turn that rejection into an opportunity for me to learn to write better sales scripts, right? Better communication, better listening, and not just say, never mind, one reject, go for another three more reject, go for another five more. All right, sales is a numbers game. If people say sales is a number game, it's a resilient mindset. If people say, hey, how can I learn to write better script because of today's rejection? That is an anti-fragile mindset.
That's great. That's great. That's an anti-fragile mindset. I like the one you brought up about marriage. And that's exactly what Dr. John Gottman, who is a guru in relationships and marriage, he says, conflicts should not be something couples are afraid of, right? And that's what causes some couples to just sweep all their conflicts under the rug.
Correct.
and only to be exposed later on. But he says, if couples learn to manage their conflicts well, it actually brings them closer, right?
Yes.
Because it establishes more understanding and bonding and things like that. All right.
Correct.
Thank you for saying that. Yeah. So what
Yeah.
else about anti-fragile mindset?
Okay, let's look for all the possible areas we can apply anti-fragile to help your audience. So we talk about family already. Okay, maybe we go slightly deeper in family. I mean, I have a family. I have three kids. My son 20, my daughter 16, and another daughter 14. And I've been married for 22 years. Obviously ups and downs. And in within family, right, there's so many opportunities for anti-fragile. So many, right? Because if you have a conflict with a colleague, you can resign or you can just choose not to work too closely with them, right? If you have a conflict with a client, then you can just say, give full refund, I don't need your money, right? But when you have a conflict with a spouse or with your parents or with your children, that one is much more closer to home, right? You can't just give up so easily. I mean, people still do lah, they leave their family, leave their kids behind, unfortunately. Some say after only 1, 2 years of marriage, break up, divorce, annul the marriage. So we do meet such people, right? And I'm not in any position to judge them. I'm just trying to say that, there are many, many such people who, instead of working it out, right, instead of using the opportunity to grow themselves, they prefer to say, okay, enough is enough, right? They cut it off. Yeah, so in a family context, I feel that it is a huge fertile ground to apply anti-fragile. And the only way we cannot apply is by avoiding it, like go home late, wait until your spouse sleep, then reach home, or maybe live separate bedroom, maybe even rent a house outside. I mean, all these are true stories from among our friends, right? Yeah, so I
Yep,
realized,
yep, it's happened.
yeah, so I realized that even within my own family, right, within my client's family, wow, those people who choose to embrace anti-fragile have a very, very different parenting style, very different marriage, right? Not that their marriage is blissful, peaceful, harmonious. No, that's not what I'm talking about. Yeah, but every conflict, right? For example, like seeing a counselor is anti-fragile because
Wow, thank you for saying that.
yeah, of course. And sorry, not sponsored, huh? Yeah. So, it's when I quarrel with my wife, for example, right? Then if we choose to avoid it and just say sorry without actually going deeper, then nothing is learned. What do I learn? I don't learn much about myself. I don't learn much about my spouse. But when we see a counselor, wow, then the counselor will ask us probing questions about our childhood, right? About our communication style, about our values. Then I realized even if the marriage fails in the end, let's say after seeing the counselor for 10 times, wow, but each of these people, husband and wife, grow a lot, right? They discover a lot about their own childhood, about their own trigger point, about how they deal with stress, right? So this is a personal experience, obviously. Yeah, so I realized, wow, this is so precious. I learn so much about myself. My client learns so much about themselves through the seeing a counselor. And not just counselor, seeing a life coach or seeing a therapist or reading a book or attending a breakthrough course. Like I attended hundreds of courses. I spent like easily maybe 100, $200,000 in the past 10 years, right? What weekend course, 1 week course, Johor course, African course, American course. It's like, wow, I find that I'm becoming a better and better communicator human being, all because I have conflicts at home.